So today I'm just going to do something a bit different. It's just going to be this talking head thing. The reason being that I spent most of the day in my mum's house and we were just having chats and stuff and talking about growing up and families and hardships and different things that we put each other through and all those kind of things. This whole thing, I guess, really stemmed from when I started working on the father card or the father image from the 40 Shadows, and then subsequently a couple of days later having an argument with my father. And this brought up all issues I have and things about how I deal with life and, and how I have arguments and how my head works and how my outlook is and how it's all been kind of, in a sense, moulded from the family environment I had growing up and the different ways we interacted with each other. I have a whole podcast about this, which I'll link below if you're interested and want to hear about this. But after that, I thought that maybe balance it up a bit, I should do, the mother image. So I did the mother image, and this, in turn, I had this conversation with my mom and just about all these things. And it was quite emotional and quite releasing, and realising just how delicate we all are and how easily broken and how simple, seemingly innocuous things in the moment can have very lasting cuts and and tears on you in your energy pattern. Alan Moore talks about in Jerusalem about big events and big kind of incidences in life or in people's lives or in situations, or even like earthquakes or a building on fire or some sort of catastrophe or something like that leaves marks, permanent marks in time, space, and like so that you can, if you went backwards through time or forward through time, you would see this mark, this kind of place where something bad has, or something has left a mark, an indelible mark on time. And I think it's an interesting thing to kind of correlate to your own life and notice that there's different things and different times when certain things just caught you at a certain time that just, like in a sense, damaged you or put a black mark on you, or just something that just became from then on you for forever. And I found that an awful lot of these, particularly from my family life and from when I was young and all that, I kind of had put away and just said, well, I can't really, there's nothing I can do about them, because the anger or the frustration or whatever I had towards, say, my parents or my family, those people don't exist anymore. Who am I angry at? I can't be angry at my mum today for something she did 30 years ago. She's a different person. So I just let it go. I just kind of done it. So this argument with my dad brought it all back up because I kind of felt that he was the same person. And I got that revelation that no, he's not a different person than he was 30 years ago. He is the same person. And then all the surge of all this kind of feelings that I hadn't dealt with and all these kind of frustrations and angers just all came out. And I've been dealing with that over the last week. And it's been tough, but very rewarding. And the thing I've spoken about before, when I talk about the victim game I used to play, once you see it, it's horrifying. Once you see what you're doing, once you see your pattern, once you see the asshole you are, in the media thing, it's horrifying, but it's also releasing, because you can go, oh, well, once you see it, you can't do it anymore. So that's the end of it. That's the end of, those patterns. But the first step is always acknowledging and seeing them. And I think that's the hardest. After that, it kind of gets a bit easier, because once you see them, they're done. They've no power anymore. You're not, you've interrupted the pattern. So this week as well, I had a week on my own. Vanessa was away in Italy and doing yoga. And, I got a lot done, and I got a lot through my mind, and I got a lot of kind of things sorted out in my head. And as much as I'm so delighted that she's coming back tomorrow and I can't wait to see her, I think having some time on my own, being forced to have some time on my own and see how I deal by myself has been great. And kind of encouraging in that I didn't fall apart. I kept going. I worked more than I normally would. I kept doing things. I kept, excited about the thing until towards today. And today was probably the worst day, in that I just felt, I don't know, I was going to say down, but that doesn't describe it. I felt like somber, ennui, is that word? E-N-N-U-I. I've only read it, I'm not sure if I've ever heard it pronounced. that sense of just, if you've had the feeling, you know what I'm describing. And talking to my mum kind of got me round, because I had to get some stuff out, it seemed like. There's a lot of anger. I have a lot of anger that I've been bottling up, because anger's bad and you're not allowed to have it. But I think not dealing with those things and continuing on, you know, hiding them or putting them away, or I'll deal with them later, or I'll just not deal with them all, I'll just not think about it. I think that's where the rot sets in. Those things destroy you from the inside. And the thing I said to my mum today is that I don't want to be on my deathbed, or I don't want to be, you know, in the latter stages of my life and still have the same problems that I have now, still be dealing with the same things, still doing the same patterns, still having the same arguments with people. I want to evolve. I want to be better than I am today. I want to get to the end of my life and see that the obstacles I've been, or the challenges, or the hurts, or whatever life has given me, good and bad, for whatever, that I've grown because of them. And I just see possibly that one of the biggest mistakes that we can make, and one of the only thing that we can kind of, in a sense, let ourselves down, is by not evolving. It's by being the same person you are at 18 that you are at 80. And not fundamentally different, not having gone through a journey, not having the hero's journey, you know, the whole Joseph Campbell thing of becoming the hero, becoming great. And I think that, for me, to bring this down, is what magic is about, is the transformation from shit into gold. The alchemical process of becoming, you know, the greater you, the master from the 47s, you know, the ascended master from the White Lodge, or whatever this thing that we ascended, the Christ consciousness, whatever words we want to put on it. That's my goal. That has always been my goal. Not in a kind of, I want to be spiritually evolved. I just don't want to be as shit as I am now. I want to be better. I want to be greater. And not from ego, but from the opposite, to be freer, to let go of all of this crud that I carry around with me every day, unbeknownst to myself. All these things in the back of my mind, all these shadow aspects, all these patterns, all this code. And I don't want to be 80 and looking at the same code. Happy if it's different code than I am at 40. Because at least I've gone somewhere, I've done something. And so rather than necessarily achieving stuff in like, oh, success, worldly success, that's what I'm struggling for, striving for, is to become less of an asshole. So that's my Friday. And that's the vlog today, because that's all I can give today. So good, people of the internet. I wish you all the best on this night, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful time, and I hope that you're learning some great lessons so that you become a greater version of yourself. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a good one.